The chairman of the Presidential Fiscal Policy and Tax Reform Committee, Taiwo Oyedele, has revealed that the federal government will save 8 trillion naira annually from fuel subsidy removal and the floating of the naira at the foreign exchange market. He disclosed this during a recent panel section at the Lagos Chambers of Commerce and Industry 2024 Economic Outlook of the Budget Analysis. He said the federal government will accrue a combined sum of 8 trillion naira annually from the fuel subsidy removal and exchange rate unification policy, noting that the government needed to spend the amount saved from the two policies to alleviate the suffering of the ordinary Nigerian. He also said the Nigerian people made sacrifice due to the removal of the fuel subsidy from government. That is 4 trillion saving a year. We did Naira flotation. It may not be perfect, but both policies is roughly transferring 8 trillion naira to government, which will be used majorly for the citizens. If you recall that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu introduced fuel subsidy removal and Naira floating reforms on June the 14th of 2023, which have had great repercussion on the lives of Nigerians as prices of goods and services have hit the rooftop, making many call on the government to revisit such policies. But the big question on the big story for today is, having saved that much, has it actually impacted positively on the lives of ordinary Nigerians? And this money saved, how prudent would the spending be on the part of government? Well, a look at this and more as it concerns that revelation coming from the federal government is what this edition of the big story is all about. And we're talking about federal government saving 8 trillion naira annually from fuel subsidy removal and naira flotation. That's what we're having as a major discourse today on the big story. We're talking about federal government saving 8 trillion naira annually from fuel subsidy removal and also floating of the naira. But anyway, not mixing words, we do not need to just look at the issue all alone. We have a guest in the house, and we'll rather call him our very own, an economist in all rights, and we're talking of no other person who is also a comrade, Efe Odomo. Good morning to you and welcome to the show, sir.
Good morning, Michael Gubadea, the umpire of information, and the yet to be appointed and soonest to be appointed, the Commissioner for Information, Edo State, under the incoming government.
Well, anyway, as much as you wish that for me, I doubt if Nigerians are happy with the 8 trillion being saved and little or nothing to show for it. But let me not speak on their behalf, though.
No, you're already speaking on their behalf.
Okay, well, anyways, let's just go straight to it, Comrade Domo. Now, the Lagos Chambers of Chairmans of Commerce annual outlook of the budget has been a major thing that afforded Nigerians the opportunity to sometimes get government policies and direction and what they intend to do. But he also, every time they always have that meeting with government, he also afford us with some revelation coming from government. And on Tuesday, one of those revelations was made, and that is 8 trillion naira will be saved annually from the removal of fuel subsidy and flotation or floating of the naira. Now, let's look at it. Before the removal of fuel subsidy, we spent roughly 400 billion naira monthly, which is equivalent to $837 million monthly on fuel subsidy. And honestly, in the last 8 years, we spent close to $30 billion on that very policy, which many believe is the reason our debt profile increased from 12.12 trillion in 2015 to about 80 trillion as of when the subsidy removal was effected. Well, that we do know, but let's look at it. So, is it proper that we've now have to save a lot as it concerns that removal? And do you feel it is the right policy that have made us save rather than made us spend? Let's look at the policy itself and how much we've saved. Do you feel the government is in the right direction in the savings?
Yeah, Mike, thank you so much. They are both in the right and the wrong direction. Depends on the angle at which you are looking at it from.
I wonder how right can be wrong.
Yes, no, it is possible. It is possible.
Okay, well, go ahead.
Depends on the angle you are looking at it from.
Okay, let's look at your
You
angle.
know the story of the devil. When the devil walked past two people, one was at the front, one was at the back. The devil was covered in black on the front, while the back was red. And there was an argument between the two people. I saw the man pass. The man is purely black. The other one said, no, it's red. So that's why they call him in Yoruba, they call it the Shulalu, deceiving the two people at the same time. And at the end of the day, you are right, I am right. Okay. Now, you've been able to save that money. We should applaud them. That's what I mean by in the right direction.
Okay.
But you've not been able to plow that money into the needed areas of the economy.
Oh, yeah, we'll look at that. But let's look at the savings. Do you feel it's in the right direction?
The saving is in the right direction.
Looking at the problems that bedeviled us before that policy was scrapped.
Yes, it is the faith, it is the political policy and the political will of the government that will actually drive what they are doing now. The president himself, before he came into power, he knew all these things right well in advance. Okay. He has been a major player as a governor. He was also a major player as a party leader.
Yeah, chieftain.
Yes, he knows all this. So for him to have taken this decision, whether people will tell him that the decision was too much in haste, is not the issue. The decision must be taken one day, and it must be taken one day. Again, if he had even delayed that policy too, maybe some of the hawks in government will have also hijacked it and give a different coloration to it. And at the end of the day, we'll just be dancing around the same mess. So the government on its own, once now that they have started it, that they have removed the subsidy, they are savings, they should put their feet on ground.
Yeah, we'll look at what kind of ground they need to put their feet on. In the course of our discussion, but in all of this, the saving means now that the federal government have more money in their
kitty.
Because why I'm saying so, before now, we've always had complaints coming from the very previous government and even the one before, that the reason they lack spending on major capital project is lack of money because they need to channel a huge sum into the subsidy room. So does this mean well for the government, and does this mean the government now has more money to effect some of the policies or infrastructural development that they intend to?
That is what I was telling you initially. Yeah. The government has more money to throw, but are they ready to throw that money?
True.
Yes, that is to spend.
Okay. Because you can throw away something. Let me understand.
No, this one they throw it away. I must look for where they throw it.
Okay. Well, anyway, let's look at it right here in the studio. Go ahead.
Yes. They have much more money at their disposal.
Okay.
But what do they intend to do with that money is another question.
No, it's a question we'll ask.
Yes, it's another big question. Now people are already insinuating if they don't spend that money on time, somebody will go down and finger them.
We'll also look at that. But I really want us to really understand, because as much as we highlight what the problems will be, the
government has enough money.
Let's obviously state the fact of them saving a lot.
The fact of saving a lot is for developmental future.
Okay.
Now what I'm saying is, are they prepared to actually go into that developmental process? Now, as we are, somebody should be thinking of what we were doing in the past and what we are doing now and what we were supposed to do. Yeah. There are so many companies, when they were hit by this type of issues like austerity measures and co. Yeah. What they did was to go back to economies and implement that policy of backward integration. Because I do know a company, if I mention the quickness I am marketing them, they are into production of tea. Okay. And they saw that the sources of their raw materials were becoming too expensive and they're almost unattainable. They went up north and acquired acres. Is there anyone more than acres?
You're talking about the Mambila High. Anyway, okay, no, don't mind me. I have all information.
And they established a very large farm.
Mambila High.
Yes, and from there they get their raw material. That is backward integration. Okay. Now we've been able to save this money, which is very, very good for everyone. Any government that has no reserve is not a government at all. It leads to chaos. We have this type of money now.
So do you see this policy also reducing our debt profile? Because, funny enough, after saving so much from the issue of fuel subsidy removal and floating of the Naira, we've still been indebted. Because the major reason the federal government has always given us as a cost for them to remove the subsidy removal is the huge sum this seems to bring as it concerns us going to borrow.
It's just a variable out of the source of our borrowing.
A variable.
Variable. That is very small variable as part of our borrowing. Is there anything?
But 4 trillion is a lot.
Definitely. Look, did they not borrow this week to finance some issues? Are they not borrowing to finance power? Are they not borrowing to finance even importation? Are they not borrowing to what do we do that in this country that we don't borrow?
So it's quite insignificant.
It's quite insignificant. And that was why I used that word, backward integration. You are saving this money. Why were you borrowing in the first place? Somebody must come with an analysis.
Yeah.
In statistics, there is something they call critical path analysis.
Okay.
What brought us into that critical path? How do we get out of it? We should have people who are thinking. If you save this money from the oil, you are still going to plow it into other areas of which you need more borrowing if they are not properly used as for the benefit of the people.
Okay, well, anyways, as much as you've said this and you feel it's the right policy and we should now learn to save rather than spend, the big question still remains, at what cost has this been to Nigerians? That's the question. And the reason I'm asking this, let's take a look at his statement on Tuesday. I rather want us to go there. Now, Mr. Taiwo Oyedele said, we are having roughly 8 trillion naira transferred from private pockets of the people to government. But I will ask, at what cost has this been to us? With inflation hovering around 28.9%.
What
is the cost on the people equivalent to the money being saved? Is it measurable?
It's not measurable.
The pains we are going through now, is it
measurable? We are going
to
through further pains than before it was removed. Like somebody said, what is the essence of wisdom when it has not brought any profit to your table? You have saved all this money. You have the masses are still suffering massively, and you continue piling up this money. Of what benefit is it to us now? We have this money, we are looking at it, we cannot benefit from it. Is it like the case of putting a corn, grains, that is grains, in a bottle, transparent bottle, and you allow a hen to be dancing around it? It cannot touch it while the hen on its own is hungry. You have removed the fuel subsidy, we all know, which is supposed to have been a benefit to all of us. It has skyrocketed prices of everything. Because you know in Nigeria we run a monocultural economy.
Of course.
Only oil. So what affects
oil
the oil?
Driven.
Yes. What affects the oil affects every other thing. Now that this thing has been done, we applaud the government. But we will not continue to applaud them if that money is stockpiled in a place. A man sold his house because of a man died. When he died, even the money for burial was not there. The family sold the house. And the buyer was excavating to reconstruct, and they found almost 75 million naira buried underground. On what benefit is that money to the family now? We cannot stockpile money in a situation where the citizens are dying. What are you going to use that money of? What benefit will the money be to the people?
He got a lot of applause on Tuesday when he gave that revelation. But the question many would love to, if we were opportune to ask is the cost. The sovereign Nigerian going through now, is it commensurate to that very amount being saved?
The suffering we are going through is even more than the amount we Nigerians.
So does it make any sense in now the savings and looking at where we are now?
It makes sense.
Inflation has increased by over 300% since the June 14th of 2023 till now, January the 18th of 2024.
It will make a lot of sense by saving that money, yes. But it will make a zero sense by not implementing the policies why that money was removed. That is the good and the bad of it. Actually, 8 trillion is not a kid money.
Of course.
8 trillion can turn around this government if we have the people that will actually do it with the interest of Nigerians at heart. If they are not going to implement I before others, tell me, give a proper manager that money. Most of these companies that are doing well, they don't even have 1% of that money. But it depends on the mind of the person that is driving the economy. We have saved a lot. Kudos to the government. What have we been able to do with the money?
That brings even, that's my next question, because, let's just look at what he said. He noted that the government needed to spend the amount said from the two policies to alleviate the suffering of the average Nigeria. Just like I said, another big question is, have we really felt the impact of such money? And let's look at some two major policies that was introduced on account of saving the money. And the first one dwells on the 25,000 naira cash transfer for foodstuffs. That's what...
So vulnerable families.
To vulnerable families. And not only that, we've also seen on account of these saving that the federal government, state government, and local government have more to share than it had before June of 2023. So let's look at it. Has the impact really been felt by this huge sum being saved?
Mike, I would say no. We've not felt any impact of it at all. You know,
but Nigerians been given 25,000 naira.
Yes, I'm coming there. That is what they call a Brady plan. Brady plan is you do it with all your heart closed to achieve a purpose.
Okay.
Now you are giving every family 25,000 naira.
Not every family. My family didn't get.
No, it will soon come to your turn. Flotation. Okay. Pray that go for night vigil and fasting. It will get to your turn. You see, okay, those families that got 25,000. Tell me, a family of even 4, a husband, wife, and 2 children, how many times will that thing put soup on your table? Many times. To buy just one catfish now, you will spend like about 3,500 to 4,000 naira one. And how many days do you consume that? Maximum 2 days.
Mr. Odomon, that means you are really living well, because now there's many persons who rather go for boga fish and egg. Well, anyway, please go ahead. Yeah.
So you see, you don't borrow money for revenue purpose. You borrow money for assets, to invest in assets. We have not been able to do that. Now tell me, all these monies that they are giving 25,000 to people, some of them, even their names will be there on the list that they've been given, they did not even see it. If these things are channeled into social investment that will make the people to be self-independent, don't you think we will be better off? Tell me, if you have stable power supply in the country today, don't you know how many people that will be off the street to go and do one or two issues?
So are you saying the policies or the direction of these monies that have been used seems to be in the wrong one?
It's very, very in the wrong direction. You cannot, a very good decision that ends up badly is not a good decision at all.
But were Nigerians not in need of that cash transfer?
25,000?
Yes.
They further impoverish you, because you'll be expecting that the next month another 25,000 is coming. You make yourself into further debt. By then it comes. It's like salary workers in those days. I don't know whether it's still there. They will tell you, oh, the saddest day of a man is the salary day. Because as you are earning the salary, some people are at the gate. That was what was in practice, what in vogue. At the gate, as you are coming out with your salary, then there was no bank payment. Okay? You buy something from me, 500, you never pay. Oh, my dad, tomorrow. No. Pay my money. At times, you will not leave that place with up to 10% of your total salary. The same thing we are practicing now. You are giving a man a whole full-bodied man with wife and children 25,000 naira to go and do what, Mike? Let us be sincere, not sincerity. Don't you think, when I contested the election some time ago, when they asked me about all this, I would not do it. If I'm to pay you 25,000, I'm going to pay 50 families 25,000 naira per month. Multiply that 25,000 naira per month, multiply by 12 months, aggregate it to about 2 years. It will put one small industry in that place that people will look up to tomorrow and say, this is where I'm going to work when I leave school or when I'm ready to work. When you put all these assets on ground, nobody wants to ask you.
But should Nigerians wait before the egg hatches?
Before an iron storm red, don't you know the trouble that passed through in the fire? Nobody, you cannot take what is it?
Because the impact was immediate and massive.
The impact was immediate and massive, but has that one been able to be resolved by the 25,000 naira they're paying? If a hunger that knows a terminal day does not kill, you don't know that? If we have this money and the federal government comes out to say, we are going to put this infrastructure in this area, we are going to put this infrastructure in this area, and they see you to be doing it wholeheartedly, tell me Nigerians will bear with you. But now where are we? With the 25,000 naira, where are we? Has it bettered the lot of anyone? If 3 of us are in this room, they are paying only one person 25,000. What happens to the rest 2? And your 25,000 will impact in the market, because the market woman will tell you, oh, they are paying everybody 25,000. Do you need now to go and carry your bank statement or your salary slip to go and show them in the market that the money did not get to me? That singular pronunciation will put more people into poverty level. Look at the Udoji.
Okay, but if you feel that's the case,
I'm coming like
okay.
The Udoji issue of Gowon, you know, is still part of the problems we are going through today. That money, that quantum of money that was used as Udoji, if they had used them to better the asset life of Nigerians, you think we'll be where we are? We have so much money then, but the man just woke up and said, okay, we have too much money, the problem is how to spend it. Getting the money is not the problem, but spending it is the money. They recommended salaries increase, bonuses for everybody around the country, all civil servants. Where has it brought us to? If they had used those things to put so many things that Nigerians will work and benefit, you think we'll be in this position?
Okay, now let's look at it. If you feel that has not really impacted well on the lives of Nigerians, the 25,000 naira cash transfer that were transferred into some major person's account and still there. Let's look at many state governments were indebted, and as it stands, we have a huge debt of more than 2 trillion being owed by states. And not just this debt, but many states before the removal cried of their inability to perform major critical capital projects on account of less money. But since the removal, they've had more money being given to states. So will you not say it has impacted positively?
Has this reduced the debt level of the states? That's one question, whether more money is given or not. And you should know that in Nigeria too, the cost of governance goes up every month because of financial discipline. What is the essence of a man traveling and have about 25 to 30 cars in a convoy to go and do what?
So you feel it has not impacted but has been wasted, right?
Exactly. It has not impacted positively on the people. And rather, you see people these days, they don't want to concentrate anything on the public utilities. Now my papa gets, and that's the slogan. They rather use that one for their private issues. If we want to impact this thing actually, Mike, let us be sincere, call a spade a spade. You look into the eyes of somebody and tell him, yes, this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to do it. The result justifies the means in Africa.
Well, I need to look into your eyes and plead with you. We need to go on a break.
No, I close my eyes now.
Okay, well, then do open it up. I'll plead with you. Let's go on a break now. But when we come back, we continue our discussion as we look at that revelation coming from the federal government that 8 trillion will be saved annually on account of the removal of fuel subsidy and also floating of the Naira. And many are asking, where is the money?
I don't know.
Okay, let's go on a break.